The final new Legislative Assembly meeting took place today as the year draws to a close, but not without questions of whether the Legislative Assembly is too heavy, meaning too many members of Assembly compared to the population of the island, and whether there needs to be a review of the numbers. However, that topic was overshadowed when Premier Talangi advised the Assembly of a committee elected to respond to the report by the Parliament Committee selected in New Zealand. The constitutional obligations of the relationship with New Zealand was also in discussion, which gained no grounds. One Member of Parliament, Common Role Member Esther Pavihi, argued that the New Zealand Parliament Select Committee report discussed warranted a response from Niue's Parliament Committee rather than outside of legislature.
The discussions today arose after a report by the Parliamentary Select Committee from the New Zealand Parliament was tabled in the House by the Honourable Premier. And discussions thereafter were as to how Niue will respond to that report, to some of the recommendations in that report. And the Premier advises that the new government is given 90 days to respond. What transpired in the Assembly was that, to me, I wasn't satisfied with what happened at the end of that discussion, and that was that the members of the House had given up their right to be able to constructively discuss some of the points that were raised and recommendations that were raised in that report. The Premier had advised that he has formed a committee, and this committee was made up of government employees and representatives from the private sector to discuss some of the issues raised in that report. And I think that is, I accept and support that decision of the Premiers to formulate that committee, because in this report there are recommendations to the intergovernmental relations, that's the government-to-government relations. That's where this committee comes in. But there is also, in particular, reference to Niue, Tokelau and the Cook Islands. There's particular reference to our constitutional relationship. And that, to me, is where the Niue Assembly comes in. And that's the part that we need to take up as well, because we cannot expect a government employee to make a decision on a recommendation that has constitutional that is part of the Constitution. We cannot expect a committee made up of government employees to do that. That is our role as elected members of the Assembly, as the representatives of the people. Anything to do with the Constitution, that is our role. And today we basically accepted, the members had voiced their opinion that it's time for the new government to handle that, handle everything with this report. But I had a different opinion, and some other members also had a different opinion.
How strong do you think their voice will be, or will they get support from Parliament at the end of the day?
Oh, okay. I think there will be matters, in particular constitutional matters, in this report that this committee of the government, a committee made up of government employees and private sector, they do not have the mandate to discuss those points. In particular, the constitutional reference to the makeup of the Parliament, of the new Assembly. In this report, it says that there are too many. 20-member House is too high a number for the size of the population. Those discussions need to be made by the members of Assembly, not by a government select committee. As representatives of the people, if we so wish, we will take this back to the people and say, in this report, the New Zealand parliamentarians think that there are too many of us in Parliament. What do you think? That is the role of the Assembly, is to represent the views of the people. And if this report is the catalyst to start the ball rolling on the Constitution, on the review of the Constitution, then so be it. This is our chance to do that. This is our chance as elected members of the House. That's our job to do that. Not to palm that off to a government select committee who should be focusing and concentrating on the administrative process, not on the constitutional process.
Esther also said she believes the report is good, has grounds for response from members of the House.
he's thinking as a government of the day. He's the leader of the executive committee, which is the government. And he, in fact, I completely agree with his position on this and the game plan that he has set out to formalize this committee. But that's to deal with the administrative side. We have yet to discuss the constitutional side. At the end of the day, my position is that we, the parliamentarians, discuss the constitutional relationship. The government committee discuss the intergovernmental relationship. We compile that into a comprehensive report from Niue through the Premier and through his cabinet, send that down to Wellington as our one report. But at the moment, what transpired in the meeting today was that this committee will make recommendations after reading the report and bring it back to the House, and we will endorse it. As far as I'm concerned, we should have a part to play in preparing the position of Parliament to be put into our report to Wellington.
The new Legislative Assembly will resume in the new year.